This video focuses on sales transactions. QuickBooks Online is going to support the accounts receivable workflow, so invoicing, receiving a payment, making a deposit. It includes undeposited funds in there if you want to group your payments into one deposit, so we'll look at that workflow end to end. You can also create an estimate that can go to an invoice. No progress billing at this point though, so the whole estimate would go to the invoice. And a credit memo if you have any refunds or giving money back to the customer, want to apply it to a particular invoice. The sales receipt would be a sale that's happening right there without any receivable, right? They're paying you right there at the moment of truth, if you will. And you have refund receipts. And then of course you have this delayed charge and a delayed credit, which are non-posting transactions. The delayed credit is like a non-posting credit memo. A delayed charge would be, like a non-posting invoice. It doesn't affect AR revenue yet. You're just holding the charge and to be invoiced later. And of course, we have a lot of reports around sales transactions. Another great way to go with sales transactions is over in the left panel, transactions sales. So here's basically your customer transactional dashboard. And I can filter, there's a little money bar up at the top, a progress bar. I can filter by all the customers I have open estimates with. And then I can go start an invoice or look at any unbilled activity I have for any of the customers that are waiting to go to an invoice. This tells me that I have 27 invoices open. I go receive a payment, and then of course the red, that's overdue. There's 23 of them that are overdue, and I can go receive a payment from there, as well as what's been paid in the last 30 days. Let's clear the filter and go back to viewing all. And again, you could filter this just for what you want, estimates or invoices or looking at sales receipts, let's say, and any delivery method, a status of either open, overdue, paid, pending, accepted. All these are helpful. I mean, this really is a list report, this sales transaction window, yet I can go do other things because of that action column at the far right you're seeing. And of course, I can filter by a particular customer. But other than maybe the online banking window, the sales transaction window is a place that your clients are going to want to hang out on because they want to get paid. And this is just a great launching pad to just go through the whole workflow of customer type transactions. So let's go ahead and start with creating a delayed charge. I just clicked on the new transaction window, or you could have done the big plus sign at the top. This is going to be for Adam's Candy Shop. You can choose the service date, the product and service. So what we did some gardening. You have a description here that would come in from the item record, and we'll say it was about 2 hours, and the rate, of course, this would be on the item record too. It would default, but let's say we do, $15 an hour, so it's $30. And you can add other line items as well. I'm going to click Save and Close. Now, after filtering for the unbilled activity, if we go down to Adam's Candy Shop, and let's go ahead and sort this. So now I have Adam there. It's easier to see, and I'll just check it off for now. It tells that I have the $30 from the delayed charge. I have no time against it yet. I do have some expenses though, as well, and there's no credits, and I have an unbilled amount for $140. I can go ahead and start the invoice here. It'll bring all those lines to the invoice. Or if you like starting the transaction from the plus sign at the top of QBO, when I go to invoice, and I actually choose Adam's Candy Shop, a drawer will open up in the right. And it'll show all of my billable time that I have assigned to the job. And just to open it, just to show you what it looks like, here's my time activity. QBO Plus has this. So you have the ability to pass through time, expense, and material to an invoice. As well, I can filter by charges, and this would show my delayed charge that I could then add. And then finally, there's expense that I can pass through as well to an invoice for this customer. We'll go to that billable expense just so you can see it. This is what I did. It was advertising for Cal Oil Company was the particular vendor in this case. And it was $100. I made it billable because, I'm going to pass that through to Adam's Candy Shop. And that's how the invoice will pick up the unbilled expense or on a check or a time entry, anything you've tagged to the customer. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add that charge that you saw me do. So now this is a posting transaction. It's going to debit AR and credit revenue for whatever revenue account is linked to this gardening product and service item. A couple things to point out on the invoice. There are QuickBooks payments. You can get set up for online payment. And when I send this email, because I can not only save and close it or save it, but I can save and send it to Adam of Adam's Candy Shop, he'll have an option to pay online using his credit card or a bank transfer. So make sure you sign up for QuickBooks Payments as it relates to customers and sales transactions. You can also make this invoice recurring and look for another video in the QuickBooks University on setting up recurring transactions I've done. Also, you can customize your invoice, sales receipt, and estimate. So look for a video on the QuickBooks University site for customizing forms as well. There's another video for sales tax, but just to show you, you can choose the sales tax you have. It'll collect that and then go pay it in the sales tax center. And I'm going to go ahead and save and close. And this, again, is going to debit AR for $30 and credit the revenue account linked to Guardian for $30, right? Double entry accounting. Back in the sales transaction window, notice I'm filtered for open invoices, and Adam's Candy Shop, the invoice we just created from that delayed charge, is right here for $30. So now I can go ahead and receive the payment. You also see he has a credit memo that's been unapplied, and maybe I could use that for several invoices, as he has many things open. And again, you can look at overdue, or I can sort the column. If I go to the plus sign, receive payment, and we're going to do a quick search for Adam here, you'll see all the invoices that are available, particularly the one for 30 here. I'm going to check off both, right, which makes it 45, and I can use this unapplied payment, or I could use this open balance I have in the credit memo to apply towards it. But instead, I'm going to use the unapplied payment. This will be amount received of $5, okay? And it's going to debit undeposited funds because I want to group my payments there so I can make one deposit like I did in real life when I went to the bank. And go ahead and click Save and Close. This, of course, will credit the AR and debit undeposited funds. The last part of the AR flow, I'm going to go to the plus sign and bank deposit. And here, I'll see all the payments that I want to go ahead and deposit. And in this case, here's my $5 from Adam's Candy Shop. I'll go ahead and click Save and Close. This is going to credit undeposited funds and debit my checking account. Save and Close. Now let's clear the filter, and we'll look at paid in the last 30 days, and we'll see, that the invoice for $30 is paid. Now let's go to this invoice again. And I wanted to show you something else called the transaction journal. If you want to know what's being debited and credited behind the scenes in QuickBooks Online on transactions, you click the More tab, Transaction Journal. And this will tell me exactly what was debited and what was credited. That would work for the deposit, the payment, even the delayed charge, even though the delayed charge is not posting. Speaking of reports, I have the ability to manage my accounts receivable. I can look at my customer balance detail and filter this report. I still have that credit balance for Adam, because we took care of those invoices. And then here's all, the balances, customer balance detail that I have. As well, there's a customer balance summary. I have AR aging summary and AR aging detail. All depend on the terms. And you can set the terms on the customer record, or when you click the gear icon and go to company settings, sales, you can set a default invoice term, your preferred invoice term right here. And there's several settings that we want to take a look at, shipping, custom fields, custom transaction numbers. Take a look at my video on company settings. However, you want to come in here really before you start doing any invoicing or other sales activity. Now, what about creating a statement? I can go back to customers and then drill into the particular customer, click New Transaction Statement. I can also go to the plus sign at the top of QBO and Other Statement. And really, this is just a little wizard you go through. I'm going to look at basically any balance forward, or could be open items by date range, or the transaction statement itself. I think I'll leave it as open items, and it's going to be a statement date of 7/24/2015, a balance greater than 0, and then no statements dated for today. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And here are my list of statements that I can, again, preview or send out, QuickBooks Online, or even edit from here. Of course, you can print them too.